The Madbean Kingslayer is based on the legendary Clawn Centaur, a low-gain overdrive that is pretty much magic, if you believe the internet. Madbean has gone through quite a few versions of this pedal, tweaking parts and features along the way, but I'd urge you to check out the documentation on his website for all the details. In this documentation, Madbean calls this a good 2 up, 1 down design, meaning that the pedal has its best tones when 2 of the settings are turned up and 1 down. I'll explore that in a bit. I'm going to be playing through a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe, recorded with a Red 5 RVD9 dynamic microphone in front, combined with a couple of impulse responses. I'm going to be using a 1989 Fender USA Stratocaster Plus. Now the pedal engaged on the germanium clipping side with both the gain and the tone at noon. Now turning the gain up to about 3 and the tone at 1, going with that 2 up, 1 down concept. Now with the gain turned down to about 10, just giving a subtle bit of grit or edge to your tone. Now this pedal is not really meant for higher gain settings, but I figured I'd show the option off real quick. So here's the gain at max. Now the silicon clipping side. First off with the settings at noon. Once again with the gain up to 3 o'clock and the tone at about 1. Now with the gain turned down to 10 again and the tone at noon. I myself have the Kingslayer at the start of my chain, set to a low gain setting with the tone up slightly up, as it just adds a wonderful sheen to the treble of my signal, although I'm not quite sure at what exact frequency that frequency bump is. I seem to go back and forth as far as which set of diodes I prefer. In this setting, it often serves as an always-on pedal for me, so the fact that it sounds great boosting other drives as well is just a blessing. Combining drives can often end up uncontrollable or messy, but with this one you maintain control whilst getting a slightly hotter drive and a slightly more in-your-face sound because of the tone control. I've also done a video on the Madbean 8-ball on the left here, which is the Marshall distortion I'll be using to demonstrate the pedal stacking. Check that video out as well if you're interested. I'll flip back and forth between the 8-ball by itself and with both pedals engaged. Most of the components on this circuit are pretty much set by Madbean, and I'm not gonna mess with them. As far as the clipping diodes go, the germanium pair on D3 and D4 are the suggested 1N34As, and the silicon pair was listed as your choice, with a couple of options. I went with a pair of 1N914s. The prescribed chips for IC1 and 2 are TL072s, though Madbean mentions you can experiment with other dual op amps that are able to operate at 18 volts, considering the charge pump included in this circuit. There's also 3 options for the charge pump chip in the documentation. I doubt these really affect the sound, so you can go with whichever one is more easily available, I reckon. Every time a board has PCB-mounted pots, I'm a happy man, even if I still have to do some off-board wiring for the switches. This was one of my earlier builds, so the wiring is hella messy, but even with that lack of experience, I don't recall any technical issues at the time. It was certainly a good confidence boost at the time to be able to build such a coveted circuit at home.